On everyone. So, no Bronny James, no Dalton Connect, no problem for the Lakers as they took on the Chicago Bulls and beat them in just dominant rout fashion. I mean, they shot the lights out, especially early on and in the beginning. But two of the guys that really stood out was obviously Blake Hinson and then Olivari. And touch on Blake Hinson first because he's the guy that, he's on the two-way. He's the guy that potentially could get some real minutes with the Lakers. I don't necessarily think that they'll bring him up, but let's dive right into it. So Blake Hinson, he's a guy that, again, he can just shoot the lights out. First half, he was just absolute money. The guy couldn't miss. And then kind of cooled off in the second half. He finished the first half with 21 points, only had 4 points in the second half, and shot very poorly in the second half. He started 4 of 5 from 3-point range, and then the rest of the way went 1 of 14 total and 1 of 9 from 3-point range. Look, the guy is a shooter. He's a rookie, right? And even some of the best shooters in the league, Klay Thompson went, 1 of 10 from 3 or something, or 0 of 10, whatever it was, from 3-point range in that final game last year. Even the best shooters in the league have that up and flow of just shooting, right? Like sometimes you're absolute money and hot, sometimes you're not. And we've seen both sides for Blake Hinson, right? In this game, started out lights out, cooled off towards the end. And then in a couple of the other games, we saw him have just couldn't buy a bucket. And then all of a sudden, just boom, 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 boom. The first win is a great example, right? I think he had 0 points in the first half and ended up finishing with 12 or something and went 3 of 5 or 4 of 5 from 3-point range in the second half. So we've seen both sides of that coin for Blake Hinson. He's a guy that you saw in the first half, and this is something that obviously, again, rookie needs to work on it, right? Letting the game come to him and not forcing the issue, right? He's happy, he's excited, he's feeling it, right? He's, like I said, he's 4 or 5 from 3. And so he just starts shot chucking rather than you look at some of the shots in the second half compared to the first half. He was really forcing it, really forcing the issue, trying to just get up as many shots as he possibly could. And look, the guy, he still gave you 25 points, still a huge factor for the Lakers winning, particularly in that just kind of takeover and dominance in the first half. But, he needs to learn, not every shot is a good shot, right? Sometimes you gotta just let the game come to you. If you can't get the shot off or you can't get a good look, then fine, pass the ball up, reposition, get back out, and let the playmaker find you. Couple things though. One, this is Summer League. He's playing with no real playmakers to the level of a LeBron, D'Angelo Russell, guys like that. He's going to have a field day. The amount of wide open looks and quality threes that he is going to get alongside LeBron, AD, D'Lo, and whoever else is on the roster once we get to the season, he is going to I think he's going to be money, right? He'll have his good games and his bad games, which everybody has, right? But to me, I don't think he'll be on the roster this season. I think they'll keep him on a two-way more likely than not, which is fine, right? But I do definitely see him getting some real opportunity in the league. I definitely do see him this year because the two-way guys, they can play, I think it's 52 games or something like that on the season, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if he plays 40 games or something like that, 30 games for the Lakers. And, when a guy's out, hey, let's bring Hinson in, right? Reeves misses a game or D'Lo misses a game or, Connect or whoever, right? One of the guys that are, should be one of the better 3-point shooters. And it's we could use some more shooting. I could definitely see him kind of coming up for those games and actually getting some meaningful minutes. And I think the amount he plays will be based on how well he can knock down the shot, right? If he's in fuego, I think that, JJ Redick will reward him by keeping him in the game. But, if he's has the rough slump, then I do think that, he'll probably play a handful of minutes. But he's a guy that, you see everything you want to see for the potential that is there for him to actually make the roster. Again, not necessarily this year, but going forward, right? You let him develop a little bit in the G League. You let him get kind of comfortable. You let him get a little familiar. You bring him up, a couple game, a game here and there, right? Let him get some real opportunity. Let him get some real burn, some real run. And, I do think within a year or so, I think you're really going to see those strides. I think you're going to see him just be more comfortable. He's very raw. Definitely needs to work on the defensive side. He definitely needs more discipline on both sides, the offensive end and the defensive end, but that'll come. And so I'm not really worried about Blake Hinson in that regard. I love what we're seeing with him as just being that knockdown shooter. And I really think he's going to be a very key piece at some point. I still stand by, I believe he's a 4 in the NBA, not a 3. I don't think he's going to be able to stay in front of the quicker, twitchier threes. I think he'll be, like Rui, right? Rui on occasion can play the 3, but really he's a 4. He's best at the 4 spot. It's not a coincidence that every time LeBron missed a game and Rui started at the 4, he had his best games for the Lakers. I mean, he even had a career night in one of those games, right? I think Blake Hinson will be very similar. Where on occasion, certain matchups, things like that, you could play Hinson at the 3, but for the most part, he's a guy that you're going to want to slot in at the 4 and let him have to just play with the bigger guys. And he's just built as a guy that is made for the 4. But anyway, next up I want to talk about, and I should, shout out to Valerio. He was 3 of 4 from 3. And shut the lights out. And he's actually had some good shooting moments. But again, he's a guy that I'm not going to see him on the roster. I don't even think we really saw enough to warrant a 2-way. Now, I want to talk about Olivari because he's a guy that the Lakers were interested in. He's a guy that the Lakers, they signed him on the Exhibit 10. I made a video about it and kind of broke him down. But he's a guy, the problem with Olivari is he's a guard. And he's like a 6'2 guard, 6'3. So he is an excellent shooter, and that's like what he was known for coming into the league. One of the reasons the Lakers liked him so much. So the question becomes, in my opinion, is with all the guards that the Lakers have, is there a spot for him? And is there even an opportunity on a 2-way? And who are you relinquishing on a 2-way? Now, maybe if the Lakers do pull off a trade and the Lakers can, clear a couple roster spots and maybe bring in, like, say, a Colin Castleton, right? Okay, maybe now you're bringing in Quincy on a 2-way. You're kind of letting him get an opportunity. I think the hope would be is that he's a guy that nobody else picks up and you sign him to the G League so he's in your development program, and then you kind of hope no one snatches him, right? And you kind of see, because also, I mean, it depends on, again, if a trade gets done, right? Like if, say Jalen Hood-Schifino and like D'Angelo Russell and some of these guys, they end up getting traded, right? Not so much D'Angelo Russell, because again, like Quincy isn't going to move in to the roster and now he's going to be a backup guy. No, he's probably better as a 2, undersized 2, like that shooting threat off ball, than he is as like your point guard. But my point is, like, if let's say you trade some of your younger guards, or let's say you trade like a Maxwell Lewis and a Jalen Hood-Schifino or something, right? Then I could see maybe the Lakers bringing him in on a 2-way deal. Maybe they bring up, maybe they do bring Hinson and Castleton up, something like that, right? Depending on how the trades pull out and how things work out. Because obviously, again, like if the Lakers clear roster spots, right, let's say they make a trade for, say, Jeremy Grant, choose him as an example, right? And, if they ship out like D'Lo, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and like Rui or something, right? Then the Lakers are probably going to replace them with like a Spencer Dinwiddie, maybe like a Lonnie Walker or something, right? So they'll probably fill in that gap. But again, depending on how things work out, depending on if they're able to clear money and stuff, right? They may end up needing like, hey, we just need to add that 14th guy. Let's bring in a Blake Hinson. His contract only be like $900,000, so we can stay under the second apron. And now you can maybe move a Quincy into the two-way contract. But he's a guy. I like Quincy. He's a guy that I wouldn't mind the Lakers kind of keeping around. Again, the problem is just where can you fit him in? Where can he go? Because this is a guy that, again, I mean, even in college, right? He shot 41% from three-point range. With Xavier, he was basically 15-5. Again, not really a point guard. He is a two guard, which, again, the Lakers have an abundance of. But it doesn't hurt to have shooting. Right? Doesn't hurt to have shooting whatsoever. So if you can get a guy, that can just shoot the lights out and play in just spot minutes or whatever, where he's just knocking down the occasional three and just being, kind of like a Seth Curry or something in the league, right? Then I think that you have a real shot here at him maybe finding a spot, but more likely than not, I think he'll end up finding a place in the G League for the Lakers, or he'll be he'll end up going to another team. But he is still relatively young. He's 23, I believe. I think he just turned 23, like this year. So, still young, upside potential. I think I could see him getting an opportunity somewhere. I think he had a really nice showing. In the moments that he did play, he didn't play an absolute ton. But Blake Hinson, again, he's the guy that I really like. I mean, the guy, again, needs to settle in, needs to let the game come to him. He definitely needs some work. But you see what you want to see from him. You're not bringing him in to be anything more than just a 3-and-D at, in my opinion, the 4 spot, right? Or, if he can kind of get, because he is better laterally than Rui, so I do think in some matchups he could probably play the 3, and maybe that grows and develops, but I see him as a physical, just knockdown shooter, right? He'll have his good games, he'll have his bad games, but he'll be a guy that I could see getting 12 to 15 minutes and giving you 9 to 15 points, right? Knock down 3 to 4 threes a game, and we're in the money. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think of this game? What did you think of Blake Hinson? What do you think of Olivari? Do you want to keep Quincy Olivari? Do you think who do you replace him over? I don't see, like, Traore. You can't get rid of him. That dude could potentially be a very versatile defensive two-way guy. Not getting rid of that guy. You're not getting rid of Colin Castleton, in my opinion, and you're not getting rid of Blake Hinson. So, the only way I see you keeping Olivari is if somebody ends up moving up to the roster. But again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.